Ana Marte, actress, writer, producer, and Latina.
Ya tú
Beautiful,
sabes.
beautiful role and complex in Inheriting Hood.
Mhm.
You play Tanya.
Yeah.
Tell me about what and or who inspired your character.
Oh,
Tanya.
that's a great question. I didn't have to look really far, to be honest with you. I think the second I read the script, I'm like, oh, I know her. I know exactly who she is. I know exactly what she's feeling. I think it's because I took a lot of that protective role growing up with a lot of my own siblings and my extended family.
Yeah.
So I also have that pride and that sense of like almost a maternal instinct with people in my family and like in general. I'm a giver and a provider and a caregiver. So the second I read her, I was like, oh, I know who she is. I know exactly who she is. I know the duality of trying to be good, but also falling into the pits of like mistakes. And I know she obviously went to juvie and she's trying to have a better life for herself, but her past keeps calling her back. Her anger, because I always say, um, anger is pain with a mask on.
Absolutely.
That's exactly who she is.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to reach. I just had to be like, oh, right there. I knew exactly off the rip who she was.
You're crying? Stop, stop! Get off me! The fuck off me! I'm trying to fucking help you!
There was a scene where you're beating the other
Yeah,
girl, and
yeah.
I thought that was such an intense scene. It was so powerful.
Mhm.
What were the emotions going through you, and what was it like to film that?
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult because I was trying to let myself go, but I knew if I went too far, I was going to go too far. You know, so I know at one point I accidentally grazed her nose and like it hit her, right? And I felt that I hit her by accident. And once Katrina called cut, like I fell back and almost started crying because she let out a wail. She let out like a scream. And I was like, I'm trying to, because I grew up fighting and I've had plenty of fights in my life. I grew up in the hood. So you kind of, you're the shark or you're the, the prey. And I tended to be the shark.
Oh.
So, I felt that I grazed her nose and then I had to I stepped back and I was like almost about to start crying and I'm like I am so sorry because I want to honor her. I want her to feel safe. And she was like, oh no, you're good. Girl, you're good. That was great. That was absolutely good. And I'm like, but I hit you and I'm so sorry. And she's like, no girl, it was great. Don't worry. I'm crying, but it's okay. But we're good. And I'm like, okay. Like I felt like even now thinking about it, I get a little emotional because I never want to hurt anyone. I
Right.
never want to go revert to that anger that I used to feel. I kind of worked really hard to kind of, work myself through that and heal from that. So yeah, it was I had to kind of like be measured and take my time and not let my demons kind of like rear their ugly heads because I knew I could take it a little too far.
Yeah.
But it was phenomenal. I think Katrina was really good. The stunt coordinator was phenomenal, even though I annoyed him a couple of times. It was intense scene to say the least.
And you work with, well, I'll say this, demons do come, they tend to sneak up on us.
All the time.
Especially when we least expect and we think we're doing okay, and then all of a sudden, oops, there you are.
There
What are
you
doing?
are.
Yeah.
So that's why I understood Tanya intimately.
Yeah. I think a lot of us can relate to Tanya.
Absolutely.
And also to Olivia, Gloria Inez, because I think we've all been there where we've had that experience where we've been bullied.
Yeah.
And you worked alongside her. What was the dynamic like?
Oh, she was, Gloria was phenomenal. She was such a giver. She was so open to suggestions. And I know that we workshopped a scene with Katrina in the bedroom when I'm telling her like what we're gonna do, girl, what are we about to do.
Such a beautiful
And
scene, by the way.
she was like just so it was such a synergy between the two of us and between Katrina and she's such an open actor and such a giving actor that it was really easy to just be like, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? And and we just like workshopped it and it came out like so fast and so good. She was incredible and I can't wait to work with her in the future again. I can't wait to see her other shows. I think she's gonna go really far. She's amazing.
Yeah, I think that both of you did such a beautiful job in really portraying these characters and making us, the audience, feel something. And I love that scene, by the way, the one in the bedroom.
Yeah.
You're touching her hair, you're helping her. Was that, you said you workshopped her. Was that improvised at all?
Yeah, so Katrina was like, one thing that I really appreciate about her is that she let us improv and let us kind of just like go with it and see what comes out. And then she'll, give us adjustments if need be. But she's, I read the scene and I was like, oh, it's like I'm talking to my sister. And then I was like, oh yeah, if we're going to go fight, you know, in the hood, you put your hair back, you put a little Vaseline on, you got to do all these things. They're like a preparation for all those things.
Yes.
So she allowed us to actually do those things, and was very open and very just like, just go. She let us play, which I think is phenomenal. And not every director lets you do. She really just let us play, and we just like, whatever came naturally, she just let it happen, right? She was like, don't do
Yes.
that, don't, just whatever comes to you, whatever feels like grounded and natural. So we did that, and that's what came out.
And that's exactly what we felt as an audience.
Mm.
I think I can speak for a lot of us, the viewers. And you forgot to mention to take off the hoops.
Oh, girl.
Oh,
You know, in the hood, eso es lo primero que se va.
Yep. And then the Vaseline.
The Vaseline, you pull your hair back. Listen, I've been in many fights in my life.
Oh, yeah.
There's a process
Yes.
right before
Right.
and right after. If you don't win a fight, your mom is going to whoop your behind. So you
Yeah.
got to win that fight. So Tanya understood that. That's why she beat the crap out of that poor girl. Because Abuelita was home. And she knew I was waiting for her, and she didn't win that fight, even though Abuelita
Yes.
didn't know what we were about to do. So.
What was it working like? What was it like working with Liliana Montenegro?
Oh my God. I have such a soft spot for abuelas. Like, they just make me melt. I think it's because I was so close to my abuela. So anytime I have any type of like role, or I get to be on screen, off screen with an abuelita, I'm like, I revert to this like 7-year-old little girl,
Yes.
right? Even right now, like offset, we were like, I was like, abuelita, take a video of the interview. You know, it was just like, she was so funny. At one point I was like, stop making me laugh. We're supposed to be serious. We're supposed to be praying. And she's like out here, and I'm like, there was a scene that I was literally biting my cheeks, like a take. I'm like, don't laugh, you're gonna ruin it, don't ruin it, because she was just like naturally so like just a funny, really grounded, really present actor, and I thought she was awesome.
And abuelitas feel like a safe space always.
Always, it's your blanket, right? It's your
Yeah.
comfort zone. So that's how I felt with her. And like, there's like, I hugged her, I bear hugged her, I grabbed her booty at one point, you know. Like, it was like that same thing and she allowed me to do it too. It's like the same. I used to like just touch my grandma everywhere, boobs, butt, and she didn't care. So like, you know, I asked permission beforehand, obviously,
Right.
and I was like, if I just like squeeze your butt, you know, it's just like it might happen. And she's like, girl, go for it. I was like, yay. So it's just, again, all the actors that I worked with were phenomenal, so giving, so professional, and just like open, because I can get a little bit like, you know, I dive her head first always. So sometimes you got to reel me in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important to do. If it's easier to dive in fully and then take a few steps back
Sure.
if you need to.
Absolutely.
And I think that shows so beautifully for you as an actress.
Well,
What's
thank
next
you.
for you?
Well, I'm shooting a commercial in a few weeks, which is exciting. You know,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It's obviously it's been rough with the strike, but I am also helping a friend produce a project, and I'm going to play a very sinister human being. But you know, they tell you never to judge your character, just understand their humanity. So that's going to be different for me. It's going to be someone that's not very nice, because I usually tend to play the, you know, people like me whenever I play a character. It's like there's something about me that they kind of connect to. Like, I like her. I don't know, there's a lot to like about this person. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of like play with those colors and see where that goes.
What about the bloopers on set?
It was great, dude. Like at one point I remember that we were there's a scene that we're like passing, like, you know, like I think it's like a joint or something.
Yes.
And
in
I'm
the
like,
park.
right at the park, and I'm like taking hits, and I'm I'm supposed to pass it to the guy, and I'm like, dude, I can't keep taking hits on screen. Like, and he's like, oh my god, oh, I'm sorry. And the guys were so funny. Like with Abuelita, like I said, I was grabbing her booty all the times.
Yeah.
Gloria and I with the bike thing, like trying to get on the bike. At one point, like I think that one of the handlebars went up her booty when we were trying to like figure out the bike situation. It was just fun, man. It was like the whole crew was fun. We had a lot of like laughs, and it was just, I think it came out, I think it was phenomenal all around.
Is there anything that you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked? Or
I think Katrina's an incredible director, and I always love to support our fellow Latinas, obviously. I think our stories need to be told, and I think it's important to give opportunities to people like us. So when she approached me at the Latino Film Fest, at the Latino Film Fest, when she approached me, I remember she like tapped me on the shoulder. I'm like, who's touching me? And it was like her. It's like, hey. And she told me about, hey, I want to make this project. I would love to talk to you about it. And I was like, oh, you Latina? Let's go, girl. You're a woman? Let's go. I'm there. Say no more. Like, I didn't even have to read the script. I'm like, I got you. And then I read the script, and it was like phenomenal. But again, so Latina stories need to be told. We need to be given opportunities because we're a plethora of people and we deserve the spotlight.
100%.
So one thing that I'm very particular about is that a lot of people approach me, you know, not to toot my own horn because I don't like doing that. I stay pretty grounded, but it's a lot of stereotypical roles, you know, very like you want to be the sex pod or you want to be some sort of like, you know, the stereotype they have for Latinas in general. So I say no a lot.
Right.
Like I say no a lot. I want to protect myself. I want to protect stories that should be told, and I just don't want to fall into the trap of Hollywood. So when she sent me the, you know, the script, and I read that this girl was a really diverse, complex human that didn't necessarily fall into those stereotypes. She was just like a lamb trying to find her way, almost like coming of age for her. I jumped head first because I really don't want to do stories that they always want us to do.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm very particular about saying no to a lot of things, and it's kind of hurt me a little bit, but I think in the long run, it's going to be, I know I'm doing the right thing. So yeah, she got one of the few yeses out of me.
Yes.
Because I think it was an important story to tell.
It's a difficult decision to make when you look at it from the outside, but it's the right one to make.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that because that honors us as Latinas.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Ana Marte. And I just have one question about that joint. It was a real joint?
No, girl. Listen, if I would have gotten high on set, girl, it would have been like, what?
I just had to ask. The question left me for a second, which is why I said but I was like, I have got to come back to this one.
Yeah, no, dude, it was fake. It was fake.
Okay.
I drank a lot of water in between takes, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and good luck to you with everything.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.